into the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I just have to let that run just for a little bit, because for what happened at this season, mid-season finale, it was all of that. So this is the AfterBuzz after show for The Good Wife, season 7, episode 10. I am Tara Johnson, and I am here today with two other people.
Hey guys.
The first time, I think, this season.
Ever.
So who am I here with today?
Well, you guys, you're here with me, Alison Law, and I've never sat by Bobby before. It's so cool. Look, guys.
They might not be able to do the episode. They may be too into each other. I don't even know what to do.
I just gave him a kiss.
Did she give me? Is there any lipstick
God.
on there?
There's tons of
there's
lipstick.
No lipstick on there.
Tons of lipstick.
We're all here, guys.
We're all here. I don't know if what happened in the episode was as exciting as Allison kissing Bobby, but I guess we will soon find out.
Let me put it this way. Allison kissing me is the most romantic thing that I liked in the last hour and a half, because this whole Eli Courtney Page thing.
We love it.
There is not, I'm not going to use these words because this is a family show, but there is not language strong enough to voice my displeasure of anything Eli and Courtney Page, and I am ecstatic that this relationship is over.
Boo to that.
Boo to that.
We will get to that.
We will get to that, Bobby. So mean.
So mean.
I'm sorry.
Bobby, we got to get you some love in your life. Yeah. But anyway.
And it can't be me, Bobby.
Okay.
Let's start at the end.
Yes.
The boom of the episode was when a heartbroken Eli just had to shed all of his skeletons, and his main skeleton to Alicia was the voicemail from Will.
Dun, dun, dun.
Boom. How are we feeling about that?
Honey, all I gotta say is some things need to be kept to yourself. You know what I'm saying? If it's that big of a skeleton in your closet, first of all, the man is dead.
He is.
You know what I'm saying? The fact that he said, Will left a voicemail and said, I will always love you, and I will give up everything to be with you, Alicia. And he erased that shit. Excuse my language. You know, it takes a cold soul to do something like that. It was foul as fuck.
But was it a cold... I'm not disagreeing. I think Eli's actions were 100% wrong. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't foul. He was confessing to her that my attention, my focus was not on your life.
But 10 years later...
It was on the election. But everyone knows that's who Eli is. Eli's being consistently who he has always been.
It doesn't matter. He could have told her a year later. You know what I'm saying? You just don't do it right now at this moment, especially after you just made her new lover go away. You know what I'm saying? It was just too much emotions, and he should have did it before. And it just really shows that he's all about his job, and he has no feelings at all, if you ask me. So I wasn't so mad when Courtney played him. I was kind of sad he gets to see what females go through. But I kind of was like, I mean, you've been playing everybody all your life, so... It just backfired on him.
I agree with you, kind of, but I looked at it from a different perspective. To me, and we can debate this later, but just hear me out, the Eli-Courtney relationship, I never bought. From day one, it was random, it was sudden, and so when they broke up today, when she left, and Eli's sad, it didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that Eli should be sad.
Yeah,
She's been around for a couple weeks. She hasn't been around for a couple years. Yeah. So, when Eli goes to Alicia, distraught over a fling that I never believed he was feeling emotions about, because neither one of them sold me on this. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying it was bad acting. Alan Cummings, the man, Vanessa Williams is great.
Right.
It just, the relationship never clicked. Yeah. It was a bad decision, I think, by writer, director, producer, whoever takes the blame off screen, because I never bought it. And so I watch him go in with Alicia to the point of tears, and he's like, you should follow who you love, and I didn't follow who I love as a subtext. It's like, you didn't, what are you talking about? You didn't love her. What the hell are you talking about?
I mean, I'm going to take a different approach and say, true, I did love the Eli Courtney Page story, but not because the fact... not because of the fact that I thought they had all this chemistry. It was just a different thing for Eli. So I will 100% admit it was a complete setup to this confession about Will. They could have come up with something else. So now we clearly get it that they put this whole thing in motion just for this end. I get that.
If we're going to talk about, I don't mean to cut you off, if we're going to talk about the be with who you love, make the most of your life, whatever the general theme of Eli's speech here was, I would have liked more, and this sounds awful, like I don't want this to happen, but Eli's daughter, the character Eli's daughter, I would have liked it if she died. And Eli said, oh my God, I lost my daughter, I loved her, now I'm feeling emotions. That would have made more sense because Will's dead and there's a parallel there. Yeah. But this parallel of like Courtney Page, you have a fling, you have sex at most once that we know of. They kiss a couple times, they go on a weird date, and then it's like, hey, I'm not going to see you for a year. It's like, Eli, you're rich, I know you're busy, but you make good money. She makes very good money. You can't pop over for a weekend here or there. None of it makes sense.
Well, this is the thing. I rarely ever agree with Bobby. So I think this is the first time in history I agree with Bobby, because when I did see their relationship, I remember, I think I was watching with you. I was like, what is this? What's going on? I didn't even know they were dating. It was just like weird. It was no longevity to it. It was just like, oh, we're dating, we're in love. And I definitely saw it as them just messing around. So when he was crying and get all emotional, it was like, you were just a booty call. You know what I'm saying? She's here from work. Right. She takes her business serious, and you were that guy that take your business seriously as well. So I didn't understand why he had so much heavy emotions. Like, why was he singing Usher, You Got It Bad?
But I think that's the point, though. I think the point was this. Eli is a person who's always focused on his business, and he was attracted to this woman. I think he's gotten caught up in something that he didn't even understand, which makes him think, okay, Alicia, I understand when Will or Jason or whomever she's had these infatuations, relationships, whatever with, I don't think he's ever understood that because he's never met someone who made him feel anything or any type of emotion whatsoever. And lo and behold, here comes Vanessa Williams as Courtney Page, who can do that to you. And now he slipped up and figured out and said, oh my gosh, I have some type of feelings and I'm confused.
Miss $185 million network.
Maybe that's what did it.
That's the arc. That's what was discussed in the writer's room. I think you're right. That's a good guess of what was probably discussed in the writer's room. That did not come across on camera. And I don't mean to be too critical of this relationship, but this to me, in 7 seasons of The Good Wife, this is, and it's not a glaring mess up that ruins the show.
Right now.
But it's one of those really big mess ups that this show doesn't do. I think the Eli Courtney thing was a total misstep. They sold Vanessa Page, or Courtney Page, I'm mixing names. They sold Courtney Page as this workaholic. Eli's a workaholic. Two workaholics get together. When you have, an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, you need to have an actual bang. And they never had the bang. It was tepid. It was weird. It was like they were going around behind Ruth's back because they didn't want her to find out. But they never sold hey, we're little kids in love kind of thing. It just, the bang was Jason and Alicia. The feelings in that, you could feel that pop off the screen.
Yeah, you didn't even see it when they were acting. It wasn't like I love you or I care. I couldn't even tell they were dating, but just like Eli said, it was fun like a carnival ride, so.
Well, he felt like a carnival ride. She got on, she got off.
And the other reason I bring it up, and I don't mean to criticize it, but this is one of the glaring things, you can criticize very little on this show.
Right.
Or at least very little of consequence. And this is one of those little things of consequence that I think is a total misstep. And it impacts this Will Gardner last scene because we get to this crucial point with this Will Gardner voicemail, and we've been waiting for this for 6-7 years, and we know this is probably coming sometime, and this is the time we're gonna do it. But the thing that brought us into it, I'm looking at Eli the whole time why again are you distraught? You've never sold me on this.
But is that going to really? That didn't really taint to me the boom.
It did. It totally tainted it.
It didn't taint. When he started confessing the thing about Will's voicemail, I forgot about Vanessa Williams. I forgot about the carnival ride.
I was gone for a minute.
I was like,
my jaw was dropped. Oh no, he didn't.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
But it tainted it to me because I still don't believe Eli has changed as a person. I don't know. Whether this is crocodile tears, and maybe it's crocodile tears that Eli doesn't even realize he's having.
Right.
Maybe it's in his subconscious, he thinks he's changed and he actually hasn't. I haven't bought an Eli change yet. I need to see them.
I don't think he's... There's nothing within me that believes that when this show comes back after its mid-season finale that Eli's going to be changed at all. I don't believe that.
He's going to be even more angry.
Yeah, I believe he's confessed something. He's going to have to win Alicia's trust again, if he even cares about that, because now he's back on the campaign. He's heartbroken, so now he's going to be focused on the campaign even more than ever. I don't see Eli changing. I just think he had a moment,
He was vulnerable.
And it was over.
You know, when you're vulnerable, you know, sometimes
something
you
happens.
get a little too deep.
Yeah.
I have to ask. I don't know his professional schedule. I do know Alan Cumming is on the new version of Sesame Street, which starts filming here pretty soon if it hasn't already. Do you think this is the impetus to not get him off the show, but to slowly extricate
him out
him
because the drama
here and
between
there, and he misses a couple episodes here and there, whether it's work obligations for him or whatever.
Right.
But this is the extra where he says, I'm going to go to Northern California for a while, and we only see him every couple episodes.
See, I think that would be a big mistake on the part of the show.
Absolutely.
I think that would be a huge mistake given where we are in this season. That's kind of making a transition.
But Eli's
I think
position now is starting to dwindle away. Like, we don't really
I think that's a
need
mistake
his
too. I mean, I think Eli having a diminished role, or even this thing, is a mistake. I mean, I've mentioned several times that I think the show without Carrie, you know, so like, I think there's a lot of people, like key people, we're missing this season, and I think Eli not being there every episode, especially with this election coming up, will be a huge mistake.
I mean, but think about it. This is heavy. So how do you feel as a woman? How do you think Alicia's going to feel about this? Like, she's not going to want him around. This is some serious shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could you erase the fucking voice? She didn't even get to talk to him before he died. You know what I'm saying? It was the last thing that he said to her. You know, she never knew all these years, so she's going to be very angry with him, upset. She's not going to want him around, so he needs to be out the way.
Let me ask you guys one more, take it one step more specific too. When he confessed this, before she said get out, which we all knew she was going to say,
what else could she say?
She got out of her chair and took his drink. What significance do you make of that act? Because that was extremely deliberate and extremely
it was to me
filmed.
like, well, that's my cup, my glass, my drink. You know, it was more like, give me my shit and get the fuck out.
I took it as the whole premise of this show for Alicia has always been whatever's happening in her real life, she had to put on a mask to pretend to be something else. When everything happened with Peter, everything happened in the SA's office, everything happened. Her taking her glass to me is just her doing that again. Me being polite just one more time, expressing what I need to express to you. My internal feelings may be different towards you, but we still have a presidential race to run for my husband. So on outwardly, you and our relationship will never be the same again. But to the world, I am still Alicia, Peter's wife, and I will play the role I have to play. That's what I took from it.
I will totally disagree with you.
I don't
and look
think
at it
so.
the exact opposite way. That her, instead of her just sitting there and saying get out, her sitting up and taking the drink is the equivalent of her hitting him, which she wasn't going to do. That would have cheapened it.
It was dramatic. You've seen it in the face. It's just going to be some issue. She's not going to let this go, regardless work and her pleasure life. That was some serious shit. The man is dead, so I don't think it's going to be back to running the campaign. Eli's around. It's going to be really like,
and remember,
get the fuck out my face.
this is season 7, Alicia, who we have all individually seen in the various combinations we've been on the show. That season 7 Alicia takes no crap from nobody anymore and is a little more active. And that, to me, taking the drink from Eli is her taking ownership over Eli again and saying, metaphorically, you don't control me now, I control you. This is dead. Now, does that mean this is dead publicly?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Should Eli go get a new job? Or be, put whatever in Florrick's campaign and Peter Florrick's campaign? Maybe you gotta go find somebody else, Eli. Because maybe Alicia
can talk to Peter and get him out. I mean, he was already out before.
Yeah, I think before Peter said, do you want Eli? He was already out before. I don't think publicly you're gonna see any difference. I think it's. I agree. Their personal relationship is dust. Like that's done.
When was the last time we've seen Peter on camera? How many episodes has it been?
When he came into the house to shoot that little quick video.
So two or three shows. Okay. Yeah,
because it would have. I don't know if it would have made it better, and I guess it depends how they've done it. But I can't help but feeling when you get the Will Gardner storyline, you had to do it out of nowhere because it's a surprise. But it almost would have made sense in maybe some esoteric way with Peter being involved at some level in the episode, like to harken back to that, because Peter is so central to all this. But Alicia and Peter are so separate now, it would have been almost, maybe just to me, this could be totally wrong, to bring Peter back on some level in this episode earlier, or have him as a character in this episode, and then later, boom, Will Gardner, and you're back right there.
Yeah, it's just to kind of reference the whole thing and bring it back together. Because you're right, you can even forget with the way the episodes are done now that Peter and Alicia are even supposed to be married. You just never, never even see them.
Yeah. They're just so casual.
Yeah, he's never around. You see Ruth I think she's just been about every single episode this season.
Even Ruth today, how much presidential election talk was there? It was Ruth talking to Courtney in one scene, and then obviously Jason, that's an undercurrent. But even Jason leaving wasn't about the president. It was about his unsaid relationship with Alicia and all that stuff. There's no presidential election.
Well, I think mainly this scene was setting up for what they have moving forward, which is going to be more with Diana, Carrie, Alicia, and
I hope so.
Luca. So, yeah, I don't think they were really in this one because the focus was the transition and get everyone involved into this.
And to your point, Bobby, I think Jason is supposed to be that love interest, almost Peter figure or whatever that's in Alicia's life right now. Because I think having Peter in the episode would have like brought it back full circle to what it was several seasons ago. But I think to have Jason, to Eli's point of don't let anything stop you from being happy, call him up if you want to be happy kind of thing or whatever. Yeah. I think the focal point needed to be Jason because he was supposed to be the thing that was eluding her this time.
Do you think Jason's going to go? Like, I think she's going to call him and it's like, first of all, my thing is, after she told you this was Eli's doing, why did he continue? Because he don't like Eli. He already checked him.
Oh, Jason?
Yeah. So why did he, I know the money, okay, but after you realize this was a setup or Eli's doing, why did you go along with it?
I'll look at it from the empathetic way. I think Jason leaving now, he knows that he's making life better for Alicia, as painful as it is with the two of them, that if he stays, they're going to hound Alicia or people are going to suspect, or she's going to get, crapped on in the media or whatever it is. And even though he and her can take care of it privately, public life sees it differently. Him saying, me ducking out for 2 months, A, it's a nice paycheck and we know the guy's looking for work.
Yeah.
And B, he's like, as tough as this is, I can always come back. Maybe our timing's not right, whatever. He's a laid-back dude in that regard. He's like, I'm going to make her life easier. It's harder in the short run. It'll be easier in the long run, and then we can pick this up.
Or I'm thinking about, we're starting to catch feelings. It's starting to get a little heavy. Let me move back a little bit.
And mid-season break, we don't come on for another month.
Right.
The first episode coming back, January 10th, could be like
him
6 months later.
Yeah, totally.
We could do something like that.
Yeah.
So.
I know between the two of them and Jason leaving, to me, I kind of felt like she didn't ask him to stay. She didn't fight it because I think they both realized the moment's kind of passed.
Yeah.
I think they felt that they had their time. Alicia tried a couple of times to make it pop off.
I get that, but then again, she slipped up and was like, can you call me when you get there? Yeah. But then she want to be like, when you get back, like, I
mean, I will admit their electricity is like, you cannot deny that they have something. I just really think they both feel as if, especially now since Eli's getting into it and Ruth is getting into it and the campaign's getting into it, I think their moments just passed. And as great as it might be, they both know it would just be temporary and a fling, and what it really what's the point.
Leaving and then coming back, they may stir up the flame again. Like, he's back, it's been a while. Boom.
Maybe. I will say though, if he comes back, which I don't know, and I don't want to give a prediction either way. I don't know
he's
if
coming back.
I think he might. I think he might be gone. But if he does come back, I think it's a question of then, are Alicia's feelings for him true or just vindictive to what everyone, especially given what Eli's done now with this whole message, revealing this thing about Will's message. Are her feelings for Jason really true, or is she just trying to get back what everyone's telling her she cannot have?
Because you saw it was natural. She started liking him on its own. It was just the energy,
I don't know. I think she was caught up in his danger, or what she thought his danger was. And
here's the thing. I wonder too, Jason is such a smooth operator. You both love him. I love him on a different level.
On a different level.
Love everything about him.
But everybody loves him for different reasons because he's so smooth and he's so cool and he's so comfortable and stuff. He's as charming as he is with Alicia. He's that charming with everybody.
That's what I've always said.
I don't think so. I feel like he keeps to himself a little bit and he doesn't give that charming off to everybody.
That's true. That is true. And it is special with Alicia, but that special may also, you may come back and be like, wait a second, this is just who he is.
I think it's who he is. I think Alicia really likes him because of his danger and he's quiet and he's mysterious.
But he likes Alicia. We see the energy. They like each other regardless of what knick-knack, patty-whack. They like each other.
I think he respects her. I don't really, honestly, I have to say,
likes her.
I think he is a smooth operator and he can give me those dreamy eyes anytime he wants.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think it's that at all. I think this is who he is, and I think this is how he communicates with people.
But he would not try to have dinner with her and bring it back up.
I disagree. I think if given the opportunity,
sorry, you're wrong.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying the way he talks to Diane. he just has that
But he
delivery.
doesn't give that extra delivery to Diane. He just talked to her professional.
See, I disagree. I think this is just who he is.
When they had the meeting, when she wanted to hire him, it's like, okay, what do you it was just professional. He doesn't care about, he gives a lot to Alicia. You see it in his eyes, his touch. When he walks in the room, the way he stares at her, the way he looks at her, it's just more than that. It's all about their connection.
I guess I just disagree. I think he's just a smooth one. I'm fine with it. I will take advantage, and he can throw whatever he can throw my way.
Think about it. He doesn't even look at Luca, talk to her, pay her no mind. He's not even smooth when he talks to
But
Luca.
he was smooth in a different way with Eli. When Eli confronted him, he was like smooth badass, kind of threatening, but also charmingly threatening. And he certainly isn't attracted to Eli. I mean, that'd be a surprise. But it's different. I mean, I agree with you. I think he likes Alicia on another level, but he's a flirty dude. Like, he's a playful guy.
He's just he's just good at what he does. I ain't mad.
Let me tell you this.
I'm not mad.
As a man that watches this show, the Good Wife is in trouble if they don't keep Eli in some level of what he's done and find a replacement who's good for Jason, because there's so many female leads on this show, and that's cool. I mean, I'm not turning it off, but you need the opposite energy, and you need some of it, whether it's comic relief sometimes, like Canning or somebody, or whether it's sexual tension with a Jason or somebody, or whether it's anything else. You need the opposite thing, and if they don't come back with guys to replace people like Jason, they're going to lose something there.
I think we can all agree that Alicia is better when she has some testosterone to play off of. Like, I think, because in the beginning of the season,
she's just a better character when she has drama and something else.
She needs something else besides the courtroom. So if Jason is gone, they need to bring somebody in.
Born
Will,
Alicia.
Finn, Carrie, not romantic, but again, testosterone. Jason, David Hyde Pierce's character, Frank, was Frank Brady?
Kalinda.
She...
I mean, it brought some type of energy.
They did have some type of energy.
Did they, though? They never appeared in a scene together.
Well, that's true.
But
in the beginning,
they didn't like each other.
In the beginning seasons, Kalinda was that whatever for Alicia in the beginning season. But yes, she does better when she plays off someone. In the relationship she has with Luca is not doing it. That's not it.
First of all, let's speak about this Luca character, because I've seen some of this little evilness come out of her little young butt.
Okay.
I just wanted to.
That wasn't a list of discussion, but clearly we got to talk about that.
I just wanted to say something because, first of all, she's boring.
Okay.
I agree with you there.
She's boring as hell. She's just basic, boring, like blah to me. She has no personality. It's just blah. But one thing I noticed today about her is this little evil streak came out of her. She was, she said, what did she say? Don't expect anything from anybody and you won't be disappointed. And then Alicia was like, well, I don't want to kill you. And she was like, well, not yet.
I mean, true. I mean, I think that's...
Where that's coming from?
I think that's just her philosophy of life. I don't find her boring. I don't find her significant yet.
Well, you're really not being on my side today. No, I'm confused. We usually see eye to eye.
Allison, I'm so always on your side, girl.
Here's the thing about Alicia.
It.
But Alicia, Luca, I'm getting all kinds of names wrong. You're both kind of right. She is boring. At least she's in a holding pattern.
Yeah.
And here's why. Because they're trying to figure out where she's going to be, like, the pivot. Like, to use a roller derby metaphor. They're trying to figure out...
knows everything.
I do. They're trying to... If you guys have never seen roller derby, spend a weekend.
Or if he thinks he does. No, roller derby is, it's a lot of fun.
And cheap beer. But Luca is that person where they're saying, okay, let's go a few episodes, let's focus on Carrie, and let's focus on Alicia, and let's focus on Howard Lyman, and who cares? But one day, when Alicia comes to a problem, is Luca going to save the day, or do we want Luca to totally fuck the problem?
It sounds like the writer's confused with her, because it's like, oh, let me throw her at Carrie.
I think confused is fair. Because they're just throwing it out there.
Where do we want to put her and shuffle to where the energy is best?
Right.
Exactly. And if her and Carrie pops off the camera, and I don't think it did, it was fine, but obviously crazy.
Yeah.
They say, okay, enough of that. If her is the villain, is like, hey, how can she cut down Alicia?
I see her being
from
more
within?
the villain, because I can see that little evil side in her sometimes when she said little things. I'm like, something ain't right about that chick,
Yeah, no, I've always thought she was on the shade side since day one. And I still think Canning keeps coming up in episodes even though he doesn't come up. Right?
He's not there.
He's not there, but he has been a constant theme this entire season.
Bully. Canning is a bully.
I don't. He's always there. He always has a presence. I would love for them to bring Michael J. Fox back, because I think he's brilliant in the role. But is there something about the Luca Canning thing? I don't know. But
But Canning likes to take people, just like he tried to take the associates.
Oh, gosh.
You know, it's something about Canning. Why does he always stir up drama? He is a bully. He's sneaky.
Well, let's talk about the associates leaving. Did you guys buy any of, did you guys think that happens in the real world?
I assume if you leave in that realm and a firm that large in such a uniform way that you will never get a corporate law job ever again in your life. Because what do we know from this show? All these damn corporate firms know each other.
Yeah.
They all know
and
each
it's
other.
So small.
And they all talk.
You only could work for who? Diane, Cannon, Alicia.
If you leave Diane to go to Canning, Diane tells every other firm she knows. Everybody probably hates Canning anyways because they probably feel like Diane does. And no one hires one of these damn people.
Right.
So
and they're so young. It was a stupid move on them. I'm fresh out of college. I'm trying to get my foot in the door. I'm not about to team together with y'all. And this messing up my career, my money. Are y'all stupid?
I will appreciate the writers in the beginning how they opened the episode with all the cell phones on the table. That was really dramatic. And I mean, I was like, what is going on?
What did I say? I said they was about to kick Cannon out. Carrie.
I thought the whole firm was shut down.
Oh shit, what's going on?
Although, to be fair though, this storyline especially is just a metaphor. It's the generational thing.
Right,
so
totally.
So you kind of have to be hyperbolic to be like, all of our young associates left. They're striking. They want more money, you know. And older people watch this show and say, damn millennials. And younger people watch this show and damn Howard Lyman, you know. Yeah. But that's the point. You want to divide them in such a hyperbolic way.
But was their reason right? They said it was no culture. Is that what they said?
They said it was the culture. They didn't feel like they had any upward mobility. They said they didn't have opportunities. But let me just simply say, as a first-year associate,
you don't. Diane Locker is good, though.
Yeah, you don't have. I mean, as a first-year associate at law school, you don't have any of those things. That's what being a first year is all about. And like you said, Bobby, if something like that would have happened, there are so many websites and underground newsletters that associates put out that message would have spread like wildfire across the country.
They're privileged kids. They're snotty, spoiled little privileged kids, and they come in there thinking, my dad's this, my parents that. Who cares?
But that's the hyperbole. That's the hyperbole because older people will say this and say, see, that's my preconception. Those young kids, they're lazy and they're spoiled. Right. And younger people see this and see, that's my preconception.
But it's different.
Those older people don't
different
get us.
Categories of young. We have the young kids who hustled and is all about this, and they were handed things. So their mindset is a little different from someone who grew up.
Oh, for sure. But you're looking deeper than the hyperbole. They need this for the hyperbole because they need Carrie to have pivot. They need Carrie to be a pivot in that law firm because he's the only young partner. So it's like, hey, we need a rift here with Carrie, and then see what we're going to do with it. Now, rift closed. Carrie and Diane are back together. Right. The Howard thing, we haven't seen the age discrimination thing in a while.
Because they've brought Howard in a little bit more. We haven't seen that.
And Howard called the judge.
And Howard has a boo.
I want to see that again.
When you have a boo, sometimes you just be leaving your friends alone and stuff.
Well, you're happy. You're busy.
You know how that goes.
I mean, I do know how
when you
it
be
is.
having a boo, I don't hear from her. I'm like, hello.
I don't understand how all of this is getting into the episode now, but I understand.
But my question is, what did the kids mean, or the associates mean, when they told Carrie, we don't want to be like you?
I think because Carrie has told them how difficult it was to start to be at that one firm, whatever the name was back in the day. And then he and Alicia left and started another firm, and they almost lost that firm. And then he had to merge with, he's told them all these stories. I think they want the success, but they don't want all the hours. I mean, they don't want to do the all-nighters and all that kind of stuff.
That's another broad, stereotypical
of the millennials.
To them being spoiled, rotten little kids, because you see... the color girl came up in there and she just,
Monica,
got the office all together.
But that's another hyperbole. It's millennials wanting work-life balance.
Right.
And if you're young and you see these millennials and you say, hey, work-life balance is important. If you're 60, I mean, this doesn't work across the board, but generally, if you're 60 and you see this, you say, screw work-life balance. I earn mine, you get yours. Mm-hmm. You're looking at this from an older perspective. It's interesting. But a lot of young people are saying, hey, work-life balance, and that's that hyperbole again. Yeah. We don't want to be like you. We don't want to pull all-nighters. Mm-hmm. We don't want to go all... This is not what we want to do.
But yeah, so I'm looking at it as it's different categories. I'm looking at it as from the kids who were handed things. So someone who wasn't handed, they're going to work hard and they're going to be successful. But it's just the ones that just handed to them, oh, my dad got me this. I'm successful because my dad knows this, and that. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're a 75-year-old in a 25-year-old's body.
I do have an old soul.
She does have an old soul.
I lived on this earth so many times.
She has an old soul. But did we not call it to say that Monica Timmons was going to come back? There's we knew that was going to be too important of a story and too important of a person to just go away.
After she made that boss move and came in the office videotaping him with that, I was like, that girl.
But even Monica, look at again the guy-girl split here, and it doesn't need to be even at all. But you lose all the male associates who combined had like a weird, quirky, minor storyline, and you gain a female associate in Monica who's probably going to get a little bit bigger storyline. So like you need to play off the energy with another male side.
You do need
and
male
whether
side.
you focus on Howard more or whoever, like there's something needs to be there.
Well, what about that? I had stopped the tape to ask you about it, and it was slick how Carrie played them.
Oh, Carrie played the associates. Yeah, he. I mean, their big thing was that they had no idea what the Lockhart, Argos, whatever the name of the firms.
So the whole time they was working, they was never working on the case. So
They
how do you
never worked on the
So how do you go to
case.
work and fake that you're working on the
Associates
case?
do it every day all over the country.
So they don't check and follow up.
No. Your hours in those kind of law firms are done by the number of billable hours that you record, or
So are you sitting like at your desk just on a computer? Like how?
Oh, yeah,
Are
you
you
can
in a
do-
firm and you're not bringing them notes, bringing them anything?
You can do it. Well, this kind of thing seemed to be a very high pressure thing. So at a particular deadline, they were supposed to give a brief. Then the partners, whatever, are going to take the brief, read it, make revisions so they can meet their deadline. So you have a certain period of time until you have to submit whatever your work product is. And these guys just never did it. They were there. They might have been there all night ordering pizza, watching video games, YouTubing it, whoever. But they never opened and worked on anything. And that's the point they needed in order to come to the table to Carrie to say, we're not going to do this unless you give us this.
So this was pre-planned. We weren't going to do the case. We knew we wanted to leave before.
I think something
beforehand.
like that must have been pre-planned.
And on the revenge with Carrie, the lesson here, folks, is don't start working until you sign the contract.
Well, there you go.
Even the bonus. Hey, take the bonus. That's great. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't start working until you sign the papers.
But
He played them. That was a smooth
he
daddy
played
move right
them,
there.
but I will say I don't want Carrie's character to just be reduced to this. This seems to be a fraction of what his character used to be before.
I like the old Carrie when he was going through the trial.
Or just the Carrie who had a storyline, personal, professional, something. Now we see him
Carrie
in the firm.
needs a love entrance. Hopefully it's not Luca because she's boring. But he needs something thrown his way.
It's
It needs to be
Monica.
a
I mean,
shift.
Monica's the one. You
And
saw
I
the
was
way
going to
they're-
say that because he was like flirting, like, oh, this is something new. She coming in here sassy. She know her work. He was messing with her like, oh, that's not a template. And she was like, wait, I got this. Hold up. And
Right.
she's like,
I mean,
she
I do like her
checking me.
character. I like her character.
Yeah.
I like her energy. I like the
like
fact
it,
that she
yeah.
does not care if it's Diane or Carrie or Howard or whatever. She
Yeah.
knows her stuff, and you're going to respect her.
And she does it in a professional, sassy way.
Absolutely.
Because I'd be like,
And you can't deny her for it. I like her character. We hope to see her again.
yeah.
You will.
Yeah, I guess.
100%.
I mean,
Monica.
she seems like she's the only associate working in the entire firm right now.
But
So I
she's
guess
so
we will.
boss because I feel like Diane was going to try to give her a lesson. She was like, look, you don't have anybody working. I know what you need. Make sure I get exactly what they was getting plus this now. I like how she handled her business.
Yeah.
It's also pretty funny to see Diane and David Lee and Howard and Carrie who have not done. I mean, those when you're a partner, you work, but it's a different
don't
thing.
really
It's a different type of
doing,
work.
doing
Yeah,
the
they don't do
grinding
that.
work. And
Oh, yeah.
David Lee, they're like, don't worry about the 3D model, whatever he was yelling between the glass doors or whatever. It's funny to see them just totally frazzled because, again, this is the division. You know, the young people, they have a lot of complaints. People like you are like, hey, these complaints are not valid. You guys are jokers. But they do something that these old people don't know how to do.
don't know how to do.
So
The actual,
they've-
like, work, the
Yeah,
day-to-day
they've either
detail
forgotten
type
it
of
or
stuff.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's a different thing. So
let's quickly talk about the KSR case with Dr. Portnoy, the kidnap, sedate, and rape case. First thing I want to say is this is such a slippery slope topic to talk about. I'd rather focus on and ask about what did Alicia expect when she went to the judge's office, but to get him to change things. That was such a interesting dynamic and interesting conversation.
My question, I was confused. I was asking you, did they have some type of fire back in the day? Like, what did they have against each other? Because you're like, you have a personal thing with me. What was the personal issue?
Was it beginning of season 7 when that judge was being investigated by the FBI?
and he was on the bond trials.
And he was on the bond trials, and Alicia had a client that came
now
in.
I remember.
So it was like,
Yeah.
Alicia never went to him. This is the first time Alicia ever went to that judge directly and said, wait a minute, I know that you are being investigated by the FBI, because Eli stepped in and actually told the judge about it. So when she walked into his office and said, you have something personal against me, you're actually, judging, prejudging or prejudicing against my client, what does she expect him to do but to try to turn that whole thing around?
He's gonna say, Alicia, you know what? I do. What are you gonna do about it? Sometimes she gets on my nerves. It's like she always want a damn explanation.
You did say that.
Shut up. Like even at the end when she's like, "Did you do that for me?" Just say thank you and go to hell on with your life. Like
She
why do you
can't.
always
That's
want an
not her.
explanation?
Her character is too dot your I's and cross your T's. She's
it's like, damn, she got to know everything.
She does.
She does, but being type A, if she was that type A, I don't think she would have ever had the conversation with the judge, because to go to the judge and say, the biggest thing that happened in your career that could completely destroy your career and put you in jail, I know about it. To say that to him is I mean, I understand her wanting to understand if confronting him is like, this is what you're really doing, but every action has a consequence.
But by her doing it, maybe he got a little scared and was like, she can ruin my career, and then he flipped the script.
I think of course he did.
When he flipped the script, how? Because we have not seen the last of Schakowsky. So, Shooter McGavin, as I call him. So, how, you guys get that?
No. What did you sue?
Shooter McGavin?
No. Who's that?
From Happy Gilmore?
No, sorry.
Oh, you guys haven't seen Happy Gilmore?
I have not seen Happy Gilmore.
Oh, all right. We're taking a little detour next week now that the show's off. Sunday night, Happy Gilmore, the three of us.
Sorry. Did you guys get that?
Everybody got that. He's Shooter McGavin in Happy Gilmore. It's like one of his most like famous kind of funny roles. Anyway.
Sorry.
My whole thing is...
I didn't even...
Sorry.
How he twisted it at the end. Because, I mean, I don't think the doctor was guilty. I mean, everybody have their own fantasies and whatever. But how he shifted it at the end and turned it on the jurors, you being in this profession, they kind of were right. They didn't look into the evidence and everything that he was saying.
It's ripe for an appeal.
It's ripe for an appeal, but the judge does have the right to vacate what the jury says. That's the power of the judge. I mean, I think it's very rare, and I don't have any statistics whatsoever. I think it's very rare that a judge will do that. But given this case was such on a slippery slope, and you're right, this guy was basically convicted on his fantasies and his thoughts, and we can all argue whether we thought it was, whether he really did something, that it could be the judge on any given day may have vacated what the jury said, but I don't know. It's hard to believe that the judge wasn't tainted by Alicia's conversation with him.
Here's my question for you guys. Is Schakowsky, because we will see Shooter McGavin again, is Schakowsky now in Alicia's back pocket because he's scared of her, because de facto she kind of blackmailed him? Or is this a one-off and he says, we're even now,
let bygones be bygones? Or it's the I owe you later on, like, you remember I got you off that Dr. Portnow case.
See, I actually take it the other way. I don't feel as if Alicia has one on the judge. I think the judge has one on Alicia.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I think Alicia is now in his pocket, because you're right. She can argue all day. I wasn't blackmailing him. I just went to him and asked him if he was doing X, Y, and Z. But he was like, of course you're blackmailing me. What did you expect to happen? So I think she should be nervous that the judge has something on her. Mm-hmm. I think they're both looking at each other with side eye.
Let's agree like that Schakowsky's incredibly corrupt, because I remember the corruption episode where he didn't take the bribe and Eli was in there, whatever, and he's like, oh, I'm glad you let me know. I wouldn't have taken the bribe anyways. And it was like, sure, pal.
Yeah, right.
You would have absolutely taken that thing hook, line, and sinker.
Totally.
It's just a waiting game to find out his true nature, and his true nature will come out.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, great doctor saving kids' lives. Was he or was he not a sexual weird man or whatever?
Oh, it was definitely a sexual weird man.
Definitely.
But was
he
criminally
I think that's the topic, or that is up for discussion, because in my mind, I'm sure people out there will let me know how they feel. I feel as if this man was on trial for a thought. He might have typed it out. He might have made a whole list. But in my opinion, he was on trial for thoughts, because he hadn't, in my opinion, taken any real steps. We all have thoughts every single day. And if we start being able to be charged, convicted, and serve time on our thoughts, we all in trouble.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Funny.
One thing the thing they missed on this is just because they didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
Is a very famous, very successful pediatric surgeon with a weird internet sexual fantasy with a long haul truck driver from a couple states away. That is the media trial of the century kind of thing. And there was no discussion of that. And they didn't have time. They had so much stuff to get to. But if you reimagine this case in another episode, this is like Alicia's law. This is a presidential candidate's wife in this trial as the lead attorney. That is the media, like the crime of the century kind of deal. Salacious Nancy Grace, cable TV.
Yeah, I'm surprised media didn't catch up on
and they didn't do it at all.
Who knows? It may come back on appeal, and Alicia may get thrown into it when the election gets.
Criticize him for that, right? Because there's 100 things to do in this
Yes,
episode. So that's
so much.
You got to pick your battles.
So
but
much.
This is like you could have done it in a separate way, where it's like media trial of the century. Alicia's under the gun. Whatever it is.
Right. Alicia speaking for Peter. What does Alicia really think on these? Yeah. Totally.
What does it look like? The presidential candidate's wife, who the presidential candidate, the last time we saw this candidate was gaining in the polls.
Right.
That his wife is defending a sex pervert who's online doing weird stuff and is also a really famous doctor.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about what we think is going to happen later on in the season, let's go to predictions.
Predictions.
I guess there's no...
Or we won't.
Or we won't.
Hello? Predictions?
Well, predictions? All right.
Okay,
well,
you
that's
know,
okay.
somebody's asleep right now.
Bobby, what's your prediction?
I think our producer is online in a weird sex
Yeah, that's what I think.
Your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
And there we go.
There we
I
have
think-
it, guys. He woke up.
I think the key word was sex pervert.
I
chat
think so.
room.
Your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Now he woke.
Damn it, you put me on the spot and I was working on that joke, so I don't have any predictions.
Your after.
Okay, we get it.
Hey, do that a few more times so I can think of a prediction. No, don't. I don't think I have anything new. Like this, there's two things here. So like some of the predictions we made about like Carrie and Luca, about whatever else, like those things can still come true. I am gloating in the fact that Courtney and Eli are done. Thank God, this is a touchdown for us. Team anti Courtney and Eli. This is a touchdown.
Where's the touchdown sign?
Where's the booze?
No,
Where's the touchdown?
We're going to the bowl game, folks.
Oh, gosh.
But with a month off, like they could. I wish for me to make a prediction. I wish we could see the first 30 seconds
of
the
the-
next
of the-
episode.
yeah.
That's
Because
where I used to get my prediction right.
if they lift it up and bring it back at the table, Eli and Alicia, okay, I'm gonna think one thing. If they say 3 months later, you're gonna think something totally different. That's the one thing I would, and I know it's predictions, so it's not fair, but that's the one thing I wish I knew.
Yeah.
Well, my prediction really is that this is the last season. I feel like it's dwindling down to an end, and still don't like Luca, and it's something that we're gonna find out about her later on.
I think the Will Gardner thing is an absolute sign of that.
Yeah,
Only because this is where it comes full circle.
Full circle,
Does she jettison Eli? Does she finally publicly leave Peter? Like whatever the thing is, like when you start bringing up Will Gardner again, we haven't talked about him in a few seasons.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a
been a
reason.
minute.
There's always a cost to something.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I think I'm with you guys. It's hard to say. I mean, so much has happened in this season, and it's such a brand new take on Alicia and everything this season that it's hard to kind of give a prediction, especially the way they left it. I mean, we know Alicia's pissed. That's my prediction. Alicia's pissed.
Alicia's pissed.
Alicia's pissed at Eli.
What are your guys' predictions?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think is going to happen?
What do you think?
Actually, let me ask you guys a different question for predictions because we've got a couple minutes left. Instead of predictions, whether or not this is the last season, whenever they wrap it up, this might be, I agree with you, but it may not be if they keep going. How is Alicia going to keep doing what she does and ride off into the sunset and do corporate law? Like, do you see her going and simplifying her life and becoming like a lawyer in a small town? I know that's cheesy, but like some equivalent of that. Like, how does Alicia get her life to that ride off into the sunset place whenever this show ends?
For me, I think it piggybacks off what you said. I think eventually, in order for Alicia to truly be her own woman, which we see her coming into, she has to tell the truth. She has to tell the truth and call a spade a spade. She has to say, Peter and I are not sleeping together. We are not living together. We are not a married couple. You can take all these politics and do whatever you want to, but I'm living my life free from him, and I wish him nothing but the best. But all that stuff has to end for her to truly be able to live her life the way she wants to.
I agree too. She just have to be completely happy.
Yeah, the reverse of the way the whole show started. The whole show started when she's standing by Peter as he's making his confession. The series ends her standing in front of a podium and making her confession of who she really is.
I would love in a dark way if it ended the opposite and Peter maybe not became president, but became like, secretary of blah, blah, blah under Hillary Clinton or whomever. And she was standing by the podium again and fade to black
and then that's
nothing
it.
Changes.
Right.
And we've done this whole 7, 8, whatever seasons with Alicia, and we find out that the draw of keeping the family together or this whatever it is, nothing changes.
I will say I do want one thing to change. I want Grace to go back to school. Can we get Grace back in a class?
Can she be a kid again?
Can she be a kid again?
Yeah,
I mean, this poor girl. And we want to know whether she got her money. Did we ever...
Never heard.
Grace, get your money, girl. That's what we want to say. We also want to say congratulations to Alan Cummings because he was nominated for Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role for the Golden Globe. So,
Okay.
And as a matter of fact,
now we get sound effects.
I know, right? I will say out of this year's nominees, very few nominees came from a broadcast, a
Big Four.
A Big Four channel. He was one of the few to get a nomination at all.
Look,
he does a good job.
He's just great.
That's the business of TV, though. I mean, I don't know how much was Netflix or whatever, but you have people going on USA and FX and A&E, and WGN has good primetime broadcasting right now. Like, all these cable channels have realized, like, this business, they don't do 22 episodes. The Good Wife is still unique and the best in that. They do 22 damn episodes. That's a grind. But all these other channels are like, hey, we can do 13, sell advertising.
Yep, we can do 8, we can do 10, we can go off for 6 months. So big ups to him. We'll be looking out to see if he wins that. But did we cover everything?
He's on Sesame Street too.
Yeah, love me some Sesame Street.
I don't know when it's starting. I don't think it's started yet. But on the new Sesame Street, and I forget which character he's voicing.
It still comes on.
They're bringing it back.
It's on HBO.
They're bringing it back.
You kids.
Yeah. But he'll be on the new Sesame Street as a voice. I can't remember what character it is.
But it'll be interesting.
It's something significant. It's like Oscar the Grouch or something.
Oh, really? I mean, this whole new, not that we're talking about Sesame Street, but they have I think they have an autistic character, and they have a lot of different great things coming out for Sesame Street. Big ups to Sesame Street. Check it out on HBO.
It is on HBO.
I think it's on HBO, which is interesting. Which is going to be interesting in itself.
By the way, his co-star, Neo. I'm not even kidding. Neo and Alan Cumming are going to be on Sesame Street.
Right now?
Google it right now. Neo is going to be on Sesame Street.
Neo's all over the place. He was on The Wiz a couple weeks ago.
That's a weird.
There you go.
That's a weird cast right there.
We'll see how it turns out. I think that's it, Bobby. Let everybody know where they can find you.
You guys can tweet me at Bobby DeMuro. We check the YouTube comments all week. So if you guys want to comment on YouTube, do that all week. We love talking with you guys there.
And as always, guys, you can find me at that'salaw.com, on Instagram, Twitter, That's a Law. Yeah,
I'm Tara Johnson. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at TJ Wagging Her Tail. You can also check me out at wordswinewomen.com. We're in season 2, and we hope you join us. So until next time, until next year.
Yeah, January 10th.
January 10th, we're back. We'll be here. We'll hope you'll be here too. Have a great holiday. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Hanukkah's still going on.
It is.
Happy New Year, and we'll see you on the other side. 2016.
We'll see you next year, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.